Does that fear come from you, or does that fear come from other people's perceptions or other people's opinions? And therefore, that will help you to determine whether that fear is valid or that fear is not valid. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we're talking about fear. We'll be doing a series about overcoming fear in the month of March. So, this is the episode number 1 of how to overcome fear. So, I'm just going to start at the basics and say when we're talking about fear, we're talking about when fear comes onto you. It's either you are working on something that you have not done before, you are not familiar with this thing that you are about to undertake. So then you become filled with fear because it could be fear of failure, you're afraid of failing. It could be fear of being judged, that people are going to judge you, what will people say. It could be fear of success, it could be fearing that you won't be able to accomplish the things that you want to do. So that is basically fear, and it stems from our thoughts. And that is why today I just want to say, when fear comes over you, the first thing that you're supposed to do, that I feel we need to do, is to determine how valid is that fear. How valid is that fear, and where does that fear come from? Does that fear come from you, or does that fear come from other people's perceptions or other people's opinions? And therefore, that will help you to determine whether that fear is valid or that fear is not valid. For example, you want to go to a specific place, and then you get overcome by fear because you remember that at a certain corner there's these boys who love to stand there, and you're thinking, oh my god, what if I go past there and then they take my bag or something like that. But whether that fear is valid or not, where is it coming from? Because sometimes it could just be you thinking that because this boy is standing in the corner, because of maybe your previous experience, you think that because boys are standing on the corner, therefore they're going to mark me. Not necessarily a fact that those particular boys actually mark people. People pass there all the time, but they never get marked. But because of your previous experience, you think that those boys also mark people, because your past experience is that boys who stand at the corner, they mark people. That is just a random example that I'm going to use to say, you need to determine whether your fear is valid, because it could be valid, yes, it could be real. To say, it's like they say in South Africa, when you stop at the robot, make sure that your windows are rolled up. Don't stop at the robot and be busy on your phone, because there's these Nyaube boys who may come and break your window and take your phone, or people may come and hijack you, or it's like when they give you the tips of how not to get hijacked, to say stop slightly further from the car behind you in case something happens, you are able to run. So those fears could be real. I mean, such things are real. But does it mean that that will stop you from getting into a car and driving, going from one destination to the other? No, because the percentage of people who actually drive through that is way higher than the people who actually get hijacked or marked in any particular area. So yes, your fear may be valid, but is not to the extent that it could stop you and you be arrested in your house and not go anywhere. Because if you live in South Africa, for example, there's a lot of crime, but just because somebody was marked yesterday doesn't mean that you should lock yourself in the house and not go to work, not to go to school, not go shopping and all of that. Yes, the crime is there, but the level of crime, where it doesn't mean that when you just leave your gate, you're going to always be marked. The possibility is there, but it's not something that should stop you from living your life. So that is why I'm saying you need to actually determine how valid is your fear. I'm just using extreme examples. They are valid examples to say how valid is this fear that you have. Is it a fear that will really, is it something that is so valid that stops you from pursuing the things that you want to pursue, that you stop completely because you are fearful of failing? Is there evidence of you failing? So that is how I think that when you think about fear, you need to think, because sometimes you are fearful of things that we're just thinking in our heads. And when you really sit down and think, what are you actually fearful of? You find that this fear is really not valid. I could actually take steps and do this thing that I want to do, and I will succeed. That is why I'm saying today that you need to check the validity of your fear. Even though it's real, is it at that level that says you should just sit down and not do anything? I mean, no one in your family has ever graduated. You are fearful for whatever reason to say, will I be able to do this? And yes, the fear is real. Nobody's in your family has done this thing. And who do you think you are wanting to pursue this thing? Yes. But in as much as that fear could be valid, but for you, your own situation, how real is it? How real? What is stopping you? What is stopping you besides the thoughts and the memory that other people were not able to do it? What is stopping you? I mean, you can read, you can write, you can do everything that is required for you to be able to access that qualification. So to a certain extent it's real, but to a larger extent that fear is not real. That is why it's important to just check the validity of that fear and not allow fear to stop that in every single fear that you have to actually stop you from achieving your goals. And the most important thing I think is once you've determined the validity of this fear and where it comes from, you need to change your mindset. You need to change your mindset because many of the fears that we have, like I said, is through our thoughts. We remember perhaps the things that happened previously and we're afraid that those things will happen again. We remember the things that people have said to us that we will not achieve it, or people will come with all the negative reasons why you will not achieve this thing. And then you sit there with those thoughts, and you multiply them there, you convince yourself of those scenarios that you create in your mind. So it's important to learn how to think positively about your life, to think that yes, I could be fearful, but just because I'm fearful, it does not mean that I must stop pursuing the things that I want to pursue in life. The fear, like I said, could be valid, but to a larger extent, not really. The possibility of something going wrong is there, yes. The possibility of you not getting this thing that you want is there, yes. But there is an even higher possibility of you getting that thing. So change your mindset and start to look at every situation from a positive point of view instead of just looking at the negative point of view. So today, this is the first episode, like I said, of how to overcome change. And the things that we covered obviously is how valid is this fear and where does it come from. After you've answered these questions, then you have to change your mindset and say, but yes, I know it's real to a certain extent, but to a larger extent, other people have been on this road, other people have achieved wonderful things on this particular road. So to a larger extent, as the fear is not valid. And then change your mindset about how you look at fear, because fear is not meant to stop you, or fear should not stop you. It depends on you. What do you do with this fear? How do you use it? Do you use it to fuel you, or do you use it for it to destroy you, to stop you from achieving the things that you want to achieve? So that is the first episode of how to overcome fear. This episode, we will catch you on the next one. Please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like. It would be great to hear what you have to say about fear in the comment section. So until the next episode,